One. Hi, Steve Summers and Robby Boydstun for educ.com. Robby, it seems like it's been a little bit because of duck basketball in both the Pac-12 tournament and now through the first two rounds, and now the Ducks are going on to Sweet 16. But let's talk about Oregon football recruiting.
Yeah, it's actually kind of one of those rare instances where the basketball team's getting a heck of a lot more press than the football team, but there has been some developments in recruiting. They did get a new offer out this week to Jalen Johnson, a kid out of Corona, California. This is per Brandon Huffman. And he plays at Centennial High School, which, if you remember, is the same high school that offensive lineman Cameron Hunt came from, class of 2013. He was one of the big pickups for Oregon towards the end of the class. Johnson, very good, very physical prospect, good offer for Oregon, and maybe those ties will help bring him in, having Hunt on the team. And then just talked to a bunch of people this week who have a lot of high interest. They're seeing some interest back from Oregon, and just some interesting storylines. One of the kids I talked to, Zach Bornstein, a kid out of Oaks Christian. He's a tight end. Might not see a bunch of headlines on him in football over the summer here, and that's just because he's training for the Pan Am Junior Games, and that's what he told me is essentially the Olympics for kids under 20 years old. So it's a very big honor for him. He's a decathlete, has Oregon in his top 3 schools, does not have an offer yet, but he admitted that he's track's kind of taking up a lot of his time right now. He's training hard to do it. He was a CIF champion, broke the record in CIF freshman year. So all-around world-class athlete. He would be a dual-sport athlete should he attend a school like Oregon. And seeing as Oregon does have Oregon did produce one of the top decathletes of all time in Ashton Eaton, that's definitely an interesting development as well.
Well, Devin Allen, of course, last year being a terrific track star, as Thomas Tyner, so it sort of seems like it's a little bit of a trend.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of kids see the growth with the track program kind of bringing itself back to prominence, and also the football team getting to that new level, and I think that's a very, very strong attraction for those dual sport athlete kids to come into Oregon. Every kid I talk to that has a track tie, they always say the first thing that impresses them is the facilities. Oregon has top-notch facilities for both football and basketball. In fact, earlier this week I got to check out the new some of the new football operations building, and it looks fantastic. That's going to be another asset Oregon can use to show, maybe even push a little bit of the tradition onto some people. Oregon's tradition isn't your standard tradition. They're going to change it up, flash uniforms, but they're showing the dedication to the football program with the new building. I think that it might help attract some students and to say, kids who are on the fence, that they're taking this seriously in all fronts.
Well, next week spring football starts, so no doubt we're going to see some more activity going on with potential student athletes visiting duck practice.
Oh, no doubt. And actually, we did get a notification. We got a little bit of an update on Mitrell McGraw, who we've talked about a few times here. He's a safety out of River Ridge, Louisiana. He'll be visiting Oregon officially the 18th and 19th of April from a report by Mike Coppage, and that's he's going to be one of the kids coming in to check out, take an unofficial visit. There's going to be several kids that are going to be taking camps, trying to get up. A lot of kids are looking forward to going to the opening out in Portland, so expect a lot more Oregon-centric activity on the football front, especially as we get into camp season, as we get into spring football. Again, the spring game's only a few weeks away, so people's attention, especially post-tournament, is going to start turning back to where's Oregon going to be heading into the spring, going into the summer, and then, of course, fall approaches a lot quicker than you think. There's going to be summertime's going to go by really fast, and there's going to be a lot of recruiting news through there leading up to the season, I'm sure.
Well, the Ducks do have one verbal commitment so far.
Yes, and we didn't get a chance to talk about that last week because of the tournament, but yes, Jordan Hoyam, a big linebacker out of Hawaii, he basically committed on the spot after getting his commitment, thought Oregon was a dream school, according to the reports. It's good for Oregon. They had Tyner come in around April last year, so they got their first commitment out of the way even earlier. Again, that kind of sets the tone. People are saying, if these kids are committing this early to Oregon, and if they can keep them with Oregon, which is always the tricky part, making sure that you keep them, they're not going to waver and want to visit anywhere else. But if you keep them, that just shows how strong of a school that Oregon is becoming, that these kids want to go there and have no other option in their minds.
Well, it's a lot to look forward to. So I guess next week we'll start tracking it even more. Hopefully the Ducks are going to do well in the Sweet 16, possibly into the Elite 8. Of course, there's a big matchup next to Louisville, who's the number 1 seed, a really tough opponent. So it's going to be a real tough competition for the Ducks. But in order to have success, you got to go. You got to meet those tough teams.
Exactly, and Oregon's been looking possibly like the strongest overall team. They're showing a lot of depth. They're getting a lot of production from everybody. They're kind of balancing everything. Damian Dotson has impressed me. He's really breaking out in the tournament, and hopefully they can keep the roll going. This is great for the school. I remember my freshman year at Oregon, they were 2-16 in Pac-12 play. So to see them bounce back, that's a great sign for the program. And so just expect a lot of news on the basketball and football fronts in the next couple of weeks, because it's going to be heavy with Oregon, I'm sure.
Well, we're going to be doing more discussion of football, recruiting, plus basketball during our premium chat on Sunday night, which starts at 8 p.m. Pacific. So for you subscribers and for those of you who are non-subscribers, sign up for a subscription. Come on in for premium chat, and we do have a lot of things that we put out during that time. So for Robby Boydstun, this is Steve Summers for educ.com.